What's going on, everybody? Marvel the Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today we are looking at the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 70. This issue came out in March 1969, and what a beautiful cover we have for y'all today. I mean, what an awesome cover here. We have Spider-Man, and he is wanted. Spider-Man is wanted in this issue by the police. I mean, it's something that we've seen in the past. In past issues, Spider-Man has been wanted, but this time Spider-Man is wanted because he is shown to be connected with the Kingpin. The police think that Spider-Man is in connection with the Kingpin. Kingpin was apprehended by the police last issue after a big epic battle between Spider-Man and the Kingpin. And so now Spider-Man has this valuable clay tablet with him, and it needs to be deciphered. It has and holds valuable secrets that only one person can know, and that valuable secrets could change somebody's life. And so we have the Kingpin here, and he's behind bars, and we're going to see exactly what happens with Spider-Man. We saw that he's gotten to his breaking point, and he's tired of always being apprehended or being sought after by the police. And so now we see that Spider-Man might turn to crime. So will Spider-Man turn to crime? We're going to find all this out. So don't go away, don't click away, because we have an exciting story for y'all today. As always, this is brought to you by Stan the Man Lee, who wrote this issue. We have John Ringading Ramita doing the artwork, Jim Mad Moon Mooney doing the inking, and Sam Rosen doing the lettering page. So let's go ahead and get started. We see here that Kingpin is arguing with a policeman here, and he's wanting to be set free, but we know that Kingpin, being a master criminal, is not going to just be let out because he's wanting to be free and asking for it. So the Kingpin here is so mad. He just has a very big hatred for Spider-Man, but he also almost forgets and he almost blows his cover here, because we saw that last issue Kingpin told the police that Spider-Man is in league with him. And so we see here that Kingpin is going to continue to play up to that, and he's just going to say, by the time I get my hands on him, he's going to learn, he's going to pay. So we see here that Kingpin's story here is saying that Spider-Man left Kingpin alone and abandoned him with that stone tablet, that clay tablet rather. And so we see here we have a couple of Kingpin's junkies here. This one guy, he mentioned his wife, and then he got pretty much pounded into last issue. So we have a couple of the Kingpin's henchmen here. They were locked up as well, and we see here that Kingpin is going to find some way to break out of prison. So that's what his plan is. He's going to try to bend these iron bars as best that he can while he waits for the right opportunity. So now let's catch up with our favorite web spinner here. What has he been up to? Well, we see that he does have the clay tablet, and we notice that he's just trying to speculate. He's trying to think and do a little bit of soul searching here. He's tired of the police always going after him. He's tired of always being wanted by the police. But we come to find out here that Spider-Man is not going to go into a life of crime. Even though he thinks about it, he's not going to do it. He does know that he has these powers for a purpose, and he's going to use them for good, even if the police are always after him. So we see here that Spider-Man's like, you know what? I'm tired of soul searching. I need to carry this clay tablet somewhere where it will be safe. And so what we see here is that Spider-Man is going to try to return the clay tablet back to the original place that it was seen, which was at the exhibition hall at ESU. But upon coming back, we see here that he is being shot at here by the police. We have here a police raid here. Police are always after Spider-Man, and they've been set out to seek and kill Spider-Man at all costs. So Spider-Man cannot be seen on the streets because the police will arrive at a minute's notice and try to shoot Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's like, all right, I guess I can't be seen on the streets. Where do I bring this tablet? He decides that he returns back to his apartment. Luckily, Harry Osborn is on a date with Mary Jane. And so we see here that Peter Parker locks or puts the clay tablet inside of his closet, locks the door, and tries to go to sleep. But then we see that Peter Parker is once again having a restless sleep here as he thinks about Aunt May. He thinks about Jameson here, always printing stuff into the Daily Bugle. We see here that he's worrying about Gwen Stacy as to why and how he can explain his disappearing act to both her and her father. We have the whole situation with Randy Robertson and Josh, his friend, as they were apprehended by the police as they thought that they were in connection with Kingpin, and of course the threat of Kingpin as well. And so we see here that after a restless sleep, we see Peter Parker gets up and he's going to head on to ESU for classes. Upon going to ESU, he runs into Gwen Stacy, his girlfriend, and we see here that Gwen Stacy is wondering, what's up with you? You look like you're taking zombie pills. And she's also concerned about what happened last issue, as we saw that a bunch of classmates of hers are calling Peter Parker a chicken and basically calling him a coward. And so she wants Peter Parker to stand up to them. She wants to hear an excuse, but Peter Parker has no excuse as he continues to think about, man, every time I see trouble, I have to run to change to Spider-Man. I can't explain that to her. And he thinks that she doesn't trust him. But then we see that Gwen Stacy finally puts her foot down and says, I'm tired of your disappearing act, and I'm going to wait till you level with me. And she's like, I should have my head examined, but maybe I'm just too dumb to write you off. And so we see here that Peter Parker is shocked by that statement, and he's like, you think I'm a coward? And she starts to cry and says, I don't want to answer that. So once again, Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy on rocky terms here. Now let's check on Joe Robertson. His son Randy Robertson was arrested by the police, and we see here that Jameson comes by wondering where Joe Robertson has been, as he should be covering the story of Spider-Man. But we see here that Joe Robertson is more concerned about the safety of his son. We see here that the dean of the school here, Dean Corliss, is going to let both Josh and Randy Robertson free here, as well as this guy right here who is also involved. And they decided that they're going to convert the exhibition hall into a low-rent dorm for needy students. And that's exactly what these students here were protesting for. And so we see here that this was just a huge ordeal and that this shouldn't have ever taken place. So it looks like Josh and Randy Robertson are good to go. And we see here that Captain Stacy is going to let them go for free because there was no damage involved here. No damage done. And so that's good news for them right here. We see here that Kingpin is finally working his way on the iron bars, and he's going to break out of prison here. And so he leaves these two guys behind. And here we go. Kingpin here is going to just absolutely destroy these guards here. And he makes his way out of prison. So now Kingpin is on the loose, and he's after Spider-Man. So now let's return to our favorite web spinner here. He finally has the clay tablet with him, and he notices, I can't keep it at my apartment because that's just too dangerous. And he says, I need to decipher this for myself. Maybe it will profit me if I can get this deciphered. So he's going to consult the biggest authority on hieroglyphics in town, but upon doing that, we have a spotlight shown on Spider-Man, as the cover shows here in this issue here, and the police once again are firing at Spider-Man, I mean, he just has no break at all. The police are always after him, and they're trying to shoot to kill, basically. So what Spider-Man's going to do is he's going to try to lure the Kingpin out of hiding so that they can finally go at it once and for all. So Spider-Man goes after one after another of Kingpin's cronies here, beating up these guys. He wants them to know that he has the clay tablet. And so finally he comes across four of these guys. It's already getting nighttime, and we see here that this is going to be a setup for where the Kingpin is going to ambush Spider-Man, as we see Kingpin breaks the door of his limousine. And now we're going to see another epic battle here with Spider-Man and Kingpin. We see that Kingpin here is after that clay tablet, and he'll do anything to retrieve it again. We see Spider-Man puts up a valiant fight here, and we see here that Kingpin is starting to get back up when all of a sudden we see this car come by, and it's Jameson and Ned Leeds. Jameson and Ned Leeds, they're after this whole new story here, and so this is just bad timing, just really bad timing here, as we see here that Spider-Man was just about to defeat the Kingpin here. Then we see another car pull by, and it has a woman driver. And so this is pretty strange. We don't know who this woman is, but we have a hunch that maybe Kingpin knows this person really well, as he calls her my dear, pretty much. So we could probably speculate that is his wife that's driving that black car. And so Kingpin gets away from the scene. Spider-Man is super mad at Jameson for coming at a really bad timing here. And so Spider-Man here is sick of Jameson, always after Spider-Man here. So he starts to threaten J. Jonah Jameson here. And upon doing that, J. Jonah Jameson faints. And so Ned Leeds is like, "What have you done?" And we see here that Jameson is not breathing. He has no pulse. So he actually had a heart attack. So upon all this big fear and this big hype of what's been going on, Jameson has a heart attack thanks to Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is just now thinking, what have I done? We see here that I've lost control of my temper, and now I've proven myself maybe as dangerous as he always said I was. And so what will happen next issue? We'll leave off here on a cliffhanger. Will Jameson pull through? Will he recover from his heart attack? Or is this the finish for J. Jonah Jameson? Also, what's going to happen next issue with Kingpin, as well as the whole mystery surrounding this clay tablet. We're going to find all this out next issue as we look at issue number 71. I hope to see you next time, and until next time, keep reading comics.